Good morning, students. Once again, welcome to civics class. Dear students, we are reading about the powers of the President of India, no? So, in this video, we will discuss and learn about the legislative powers of the President of India. So, already we have learned about the executive powers, no? As the Chief Executive of India, President of India can make a number of appointments. So, please remember the appointment that the President of India can make. He can appoint or he can appoint the governors of the states. Okay, like that we have learned, no? He can appoint the Prime Minister of India. He can appoint the members of the Union Council of Ministers. Executive powers. In this video, we will discuss about the various legislative powers of the President of India regarding law making. Legislative powers. According to our constitution, the Parliament has the power to pass the bills. No, we have learned about the Union list of subjects. A list which contains a number of subjects. According to our constitution, the Parliament of India has the privilege to make amendments regarding the subjects mentioned in the Union list of subjects. Okay, after that what is essential? The President's assent or approval is very essential. It means he has to sign on the bills passed by the Parliament. Then only bill become a law. Okay, so please remember the various legislative powers we are going to learn. So, the first one addresses sessions of Parliament. Legislative powers, first one, President of India can address the meetings of the Parliament. The President addresses both the Houses of Parliament assembled together for the first session after each general election to the Lok Sabha and at the commencement of the first session of each year. Okay, in this address he lays emphasis on the internal as well as external policies of the government. So this address is known as the presidential address. President of India can address the meeting of the Parliament when it is. For example, after the general election, there will be the first meeting of the Lok Sabha. Newly elected members will meet the first time, and that meeting will be a joint meeting of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. President of India will address that meeting. He will deliver a speech. In this speech, he will explain or outline the policies of the newly elected government. Internal policies of the government in the country, and the external policies of the government towards other countries. Okay, in this address he will deliver about all this one. Presidential address. The President has the power to address either House of Parliament or their joint sitting at any time. Okay, President has the power to address the joint meeting. Already we have learned about the joint meeting, no? What do you mean by joint meeting of the Indian Parliament? Joint meeting is a meeting of the two houses together. No, members of the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha will sit together in the Central Hall of Indian Parliament. Joint meeting. And what is the need for this joint meeting? If there is a dispute or a deadlock between the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha regarding any matter except money matters, President of India can call a joint meeting to solve this issue. In this meeting, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha will preside. Okay, please remember. Addresses the sessions of the Parliament. First legislative power of the President of India. What do you mean by presidential address? Another question. So you have to write the answer. President of India has the power to address the Parliament of India. And this address is known as the presidential address when there is a first meeting of the newly elected house, and also the first meeting of the each year. Now we know that Indian Parliament has 3 meetings in 1 year. In order to discuss and pass the budget, there is one session. February to February, March, April, no. And then there is a break. And then during the monsoon season, there is another session, a monsoon session of the Indian Parliament. And third meeting, the winter session of the Indian Parliament. Okay, please remember. And now, messages to the Parliament. President of India, he has the power to send messages to either House of Parliament, either in the regard of any pending bill or to any other matter. President of India can send messages to the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha regarding any pending bill. Okay, message to the Parliament. Okay, and then summon and prorogue the houses. Already we have learned this in the first chapter. Who can summon the meeting of the Indian Parliament? Who can prorogue the meeting of the Indian Parliament? So, okay, President of India has the privilege to call the meeting of the Parliament and to call off the meeting of the Parliament. Okay. The President has the power to summon and prorogue the Houses of Parliament. You know that after every session there will be prorogation. Okay. President of India has the power to call the meeting of the Parliament for what we can say now winter session is going to start. Maybe in the month of November or December, winter session. President of India will call the meeting and after the meeting he will call off. That is known as prorogation. The power to summon Parliament is subject to the condition that there should not be a gap of more than 6 months between two sessions of each house. Normally, there are 3 sessions of Parliament each year. That is budget session February to May, and then monsoon session July September. Okay, and the third one is winter session November December. Indian Parliament means our Parliament has 3 sessions in 1 year, and who can call the sessions? President of India can call the meeting of the Parliament. He can call off the meeting and dissolve the Lok Sabha. Another legislative power of the President of India, dissolve the Lok Sabha. He can dissolve the Lok Sabha and order fresh elections. Rajya Sabha is a permanent body, so not subject to dissolution. President, already we have learned what is the term of the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha's normal term is 5 years only. But if the, okay, you know that means government lost the support of the Lok Sabha, President of India can dissolve the Lok Sabha. Okay. And he can order fresh polls. When the President of India can dissolve the Lok Sabha, under what condition? Suppose what we can say, this government, Narendra Modi and his government has the support of the Lok Sabha. What do you mean by that? More than half of the members of the Lok Sabha are supporting Narendra Modi and his government. Majority support is that only. If the government lost the majority support, okay, the President of India can dissolve the Lok Sabha and order for a fresh poll. Okay, and now nomination of members. The President nominates 12 members to the Rajya Sabha from among persons having special knowledge or practical experience in these matters. President of India nominate 12 members to the Rajya Sabha and 2 to the Lok Sabha. The President may nominate 2 members of the Anglo-Indian community to the Lok Sabha if he feels that the community is not adequately represented in the House. This is the provision. If the President feels this community has no sufficient representation in the Lok Sabha, he can nominate 2. Okay. So listen, total 14 nominated members are there in the Indian Parliament. 12 in the Rajya Sabha and 2 in the Lok Sabha. Nomination of members. And who can nominate? President of India can nominate 14 members to the Parliament according to the advice of the Prime Minister. And now assent to bills. Assent means approval. Okay. President's approval is very essential for all the bill. No bill can become a law without the assent and the signature of the President. Okay, then once a bill is passed by both houses, it is sent to the President for his approval. The President may give his assent or withhold the bill or send it back to the House concerned with the recommendations. Suppose Parliament of India sent a bill, I mean Lok Sabha passed a bill and Lok Sabha sent the bill to the Rajya Sabha also passed the bill. Then what is the next step? So the bill need the approval of the President. No, President has to sign on the bill. In that time, he has three options. If he want, he can sign the first instance, okay. Or if he want, he can send back the bill to the Parliament with his recommendations. President of India made two recommendations, no changes. Then with that recommendation, he can send back the bill to the Parliament. Parliament has to consider that bill once again, or he can withhold the bill. Three options. However, if the bill is passed again in the same form, he has to give his assent to the bill. It is known as the second journey of the bill. If a bill has second journey, President of India has no option, he has to sign. Usually the houses examine the recommendations of the President. Okay. And now ordinances. Already we have learned what is an ordinance. So once again, ordinance is a presidential or the governor's decree having the authority of a law. President of India can announce or issue or promulgate ordinance, but when? Under Article 123 of the Constitution of India, the President can promulgate, announce or issue an ordinance which has the same status as an act of Parliament. Okay. The President may withdraw the ordinance at any time. The power to promulgate an ordinance is subject to the following conditions. When the President of India can issue or promulgate an ordinance, what is an ordinance? And now third point, under what circumstances the President of India can promulgate an ordinance? Okay, first point. The President must be satisfied that circumstances make it necessary for him to take immediate action. If the President fails, there is the need for immediate action. So he can promulgate an ordinance for taking immediate action. Suppose what if as a government is going to amend the constitution, so it will take much time, no? Both houses have to discuss, and after all the discussions, it will take time. So it is for an immediate action. President of India and the power to issue ordinance. An ordinance can be promulgated at a time when both houses of Parliament are not in session. However, if one house is in session, there is no bar in issuing an ordinance. Mostly, if the Parliament has no meeting and then there is need for an immediate action, so during this time, the President of India can issue an ordinance. And third condition, the ordinance so promulgated should be laid before both houses of Parliament when they reassemble. If the Parliament does not approve the ordinance, it will lapse. If an ordinance is not disapproved, it will automatically cease to operate at the end of 6 weeks from the date the Parliament reassembles. So what is the meaning of this point? So the approval of the Parliament is very essential after the promulgation of an ordinance. President of India can promulgate ordinance. After that, what is essential? The approval of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are essential. Then only it will operate. Otherwise it will automatically cease to operate, stop to operate. So what is the role of President for the issue of ordinance, and what is the role of Parliament regarding ordinance. So listen, important point. Parliament's approval is very essential for every ordinance issued by the President of India within a fixed time. The time, please remember. And now, the ordinance lasts if it is replaced by an act of Parliament. So, for example, now there is the meeting of the Parliament. President of India if he wants, he can issue an ordinance. No. After that, Parliament will meet. No. For example, for the winter session. During that session or in that session, the Parliament has to approve the ordinance issued by the President of India. Or if the Parliament made an act regarding this ordinance, so it will cease to operate, replaced by the law. Okay. And now assent to some state bill. Okay. The governor may reserve some bills passed by the state legislature for the consideration of president. The president can refuse his assent to such a bill, or he can also send it back for reconsideration. Bills affecting matters such as the powers of the High Court are reserved for the consideration of the President. Okay. Sometimes the Legislative Assembly of a state can send a bill to the President for his consideration. Okay. President's assent or approval is very essential. Not all the bill, but some important bill. No, one example is given for regarding the powers of the High Court of a state. Okay. So the state legislative assembly can send some important bill to the president's table for his assent. President of India, after studying the bill, has to sign or has to give his approval. Okay. And now formation of new states. A bill for the formation of the new state or alteration, change of areas of the existing states cannot be introduced except on the President's recommendation. Parliament has the power to create a new state. No. For that, the Parliament has to introduce bills in the House, but with the permission of the President of India only. So these are the various legislative powers to the President of India. Once again, okay, regarding the address sessions of Parliament, okay, who can call the meeting of the Parliament of India, who can prorogue the meeting of the Parliament, who can dissolve the Lok Sabha. Okay, all these points please revise and learn. Thank you.